is the director of the spiritual formation at Davidson United Methodist Church and the Lydia Group Retreat Ministry. Today, she is on project number 7, Research Your Topic. Her time is 5 to 7 minutes. We are watching for statistics, testimony, examples, stories and anecdotes, visual aids, and facts. Anne's objective is to collect information from numerous sources that carefully support her personal points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered from the speech. The title of her speech, The Forgotten Power of Jesus. Miss Anne, would you come?
Well, an editor's note about the title. I don't know how I typed that, but the power is pause. The forgotten power of pause. So my speeches the last few times has been about us needing to set a new pace, to set a new rhythm, a sacred rhythm. Because for most of us, the way we're working just isn't working. And I've shown through scripture throughout time that in the beginning, God created 7 days. 6 of those we are to go at it like crazy. But on one day, we are to rest. We are to unplug from the world and unplug from our work and plug into the power source. The power of God, the power of the sacred pause. But somewhere, some way along the way, we've lost our way. We have forgotten if we ever knew the power of pause. So I want to look at 3 things today. Our past generation, how did they enter a sacred pause? Meaning Sabbath keeping, turning from the world and turning to God. How did they honor Sabbath keeping? How does our current generation honor Sabbath keeping? And what is the prospects for the future? Based on the past and based on today, what is the prospects for the future? So let's look at past. You may recognize a name by Richard Foster. He has done lots and lots of research throughout Scripture. And he says, all throughout the sacred text, God is giving us spiritual practices, fasting, solitude, silence, prayer, Sabbath keeping. And he also says that nowhere in there is there a training program for it. You know, it's part of their fabric. Somebody modeled it. They grew up in it. It was a way of life, like technology is a way of life for us today. So in the 1440 before Christ, we have Mr. Who?
Moses.
All right, Mr. Moses with the 10 Commandments. It's not a suggestion. It was handed down as a law. You will remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. But today it's like, remember the Sabbath, keep it boring. We don't even think of it being holy. So this was in around 1440 before Christ. There's a lot of course, scholars trying to figure this out, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood. Then we have a man named Christopher Ringwald. And again, he is a religious scholar and done enormous research. And he says that in the 1800s, we have this second great awakening. And we're due for another awakening in our today. But a second great awakening. And I'm sure that some of you will recognize these pictures where people were out in the fields listening to preachers. They would travel from long places. He said the Sabbath keeping principle went out into the frontier. People were just hungry for the word. Churches doubled. Sunday school classes mushroomed. And people were willing to listen to long sermons. Imagine that. But then we keep going. And we get to the 19th century. Even into the 20th century now. We are honoring Sabbath keeping. And we had Moses' law. But then there was a law set in place in the culture. Does anybody remember what that law was? It was called a blue law. Most of you are too young to remember that. It was called a blue law. You didn't go anywhere at Christmas or Easter because you knew what? Everything was closed. Everything was closed. Closed, closed, closed. You did not hunt. You did not shop. You did not travel. Everything was closed. We honored the Sabbath. Then, I'm telling you, this is what just amazes me. I really went back to tears. Only in the last 50 years, think about this, the tipping point. We are now addicted to consumerism. We are addicted to technology. Nobody stops on Sundays. And the law, the blue laws, never mind Moses' law, the blue law was ignored or disbanded a little at a time, and we didn't even see it happening. We didn't even see it happening. So where in the world are we going with this? I don't know. The 1992 Alabama song could be our theme song today. I'm in a hurry to get things done. I don't know why. I'm in such a rush. All I gotta really do is live and die. But I'm in a hurry and I don't know why. And then they say, oh, and I hear this voice. It says, you're behind. You better pick up the pace. This is a race. This is a race. There is no room for someone in second place. Now I wonder if the cost of us thinking there is no room for someone in second place could be the reason that the National Rehabilitation Center says that in the last 10 years, the addiction to prescription drugs has doubled from 38 million to 6 million. And of those 6 million, 1 million are people, get this, from the age 12 to 17. Does that not break your heart?
Wow.
Because they feel like they do not measure up. I mean, when I think about it, and that is just statistics. Who knows what the real truth is? That's what they are recording through the Rehabilitation Center. So, I like this quote from a man in 20th century Greek Swiss theologian Karl Barth, who wrote, "A being is free only when it can determine and limit its activity. We are held captive to our activities," myself included. We are held captive. We have forgotten if we ever knew the power of pause. So I don't know why God has pressed my heart about this subject at my age. I wish he had about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but he has. And he said, "Ann, don't neglect me. Don't forget me. For one day, would you please unplug from the world, unplug from your work, and plug into the power of the sacred